Oh, I'm really thinking about getting that on a t-shirt. 100 copies for me. Hello, welcome along to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel once again. Thanks to our sponsors, Guglielmo Clothing, GEORDIE Gifts, for their mint sponsorship of our channel. My name is Emil Franchi and I'm here with bad news. Unfortunately, Newcastle are still waiting on their first win at St James's Park this season. However, it was a bit of a difficult one to take. Sadly, the Premier League's bottom club managed to get their first point of the season against us. And these are the player ratings for Newcastle's 1-1 draw against Watford that we might have watched. We'll go straight to the man in goal because no one else can play in goal. Martin Dubravka was there once again. Very quiet after Watford scored. The goal itself was unlucky. That deflection just fell to the wrong player at the wrong time, and the rest is history. But he made 4 very quick saves in succession in the second half. One from Doucouré, Hughes, Success and Pereira. All varying degrees of difficulty, and he dealt with every single one of them. So very much kept us in the point at the end of the match there. And Dubravka gets 8 this week. Emil Kraft playing once again as the full-back. He managed to deal with Watford on most occasions on the wing. Not afraid to get forward. We've seen that a few times now. There was good tracking back as well. I noticed he's very, very pacey. Got some decent speed in him when he wants to get back to make sure he's in the right place. And yet he had a great ball in for the equaliser. That's what he managed to achieve in this game. So a decent run out for Kraft, I think. He's really improved from that nightmare performance against Norwich now. 7 for him. Manquillo came on towards the end. There was some nice attack and play down the wing, but it was the 78th minute. Very hard to judge him on that one. Dummett came on. When Dummett started even. It was a solid showing, as usual. Quieter than his Tottenham match. Obviously, Newcastle weren't as under the cosh, but he did the basics well in those final 15 minutes, especially when Watford were pressing, and he was great in those last-ditch challenges as ever. Kept them out. 7 for Dummett. A classic for him. Lascelles, there was some strong work to push Watford out on the wing. Nice little run up to push forward, but a bit of a quiet affair. I've had a bit of an assessment of my initial stance on Lascelles. You might have seen the instant reaction where I thought he was man of the match, but unfortunately there were many moments where Watford turned it on. He was a little bit slow. So Lascelles, giving him a 6 for this one. Share, as good as you'll get from him. Absolute dreamboat. Great defensive display. Not short of ideas really going forward, but when the ball did come to him, he was a little bit slow. You could tell that the crowd were getting a little bit frustrated that nothing was going on, but he did set off the attack when he went and scored as well, and took that goal well. I know there's a few queries about VAR, but unless that camera rules the goal out, we've still got the point. That's the main thing. 9 for Share. He went off in the final 5. Fernandez came on. Not enough of him again to see what was going on, but didn't really have much to do, did he? Willems, Jethro, he continued his efforts from the game against Leicester, where I thought he was very impressive. And he looks good on the ball. I think he's very strong. He was winning a lot of challenges, and he got down that wing. He's not afraid to kick on, is he? And I thought his work with Atsu is something very, very exciting. A lot of promise in that partnership if it keeps up. 8 for Willems. Hayden gave a captain's performance in this game. He was telling the players to close in on Watford when they were doing the set plays, particularly the throw-ins where we needed to get a little bit closer. Hayden shouting at the players, and they obeyed him, which really shows that commanding presence in the middle. There was some excellent control on the ball, great interceptions, and a shot that Foster just tipped over with some lethal power, and it was very unlucky. Hayden gets a 9. He was tireless in this game. Contrastingly now, Sean Longstaff, an awful game. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. Slow to react in the opening stages. Really, really poor loss of the ball. He looked scared of the ball on some occasions. He didn't even want it in parts of the game. And there was one good moment towards the end. I think he finally switched it on when we were going through those last few attacks against Watford. He took the corner quite well, which nearly led to a goal-mouth scramble and a goal, but not good enough from Sean Longstaff. He needs to try and bring back that consistency that we love. 4, unfortunately. I really hate to say that because it kills us, but Longstaff is very much open to judgment now, as everyone else is. Atsu, was terrorising Watford from the off. Again, a great game from him, a great reaction as well to really push forward after Watford scored. He teamed up nicely, as I said, with Willems on the wing. I'm just going all V's, Steve McLaren, Dutch show. He was a bit too slow to get the ball, and at times he kind of dilly-dallied, and you know what, it wasn't a bad performance. He's continuing that good form that we're seeing. So Atsu gets himself 8. Muto came on briefly. He nearly won the game. He was halfway to Gosforth when he was running towards the goal there, but the first touch was just too much. Whether or not Joe Linton should have helped him, we'll get onto that, but yeah, again, not enough to see of Muto, but good to see him going for it. Maybe that goal against Leicester's instilled a little bit of confidence in him. Almiron, oh man, this poor lad, at least he got the ball in the net, but it was offside. He was unlucky once again. He took a while to get into the game, I must say, but that chance that he had on a play in the first half was so unlucky. That first touch, it wasn't enough, and it let him down. And then he led the charge on Watford at times. He was winning free kicks. He was looking good. That pace that we need, and it'll go through some sides. I reckon Watford really were out to do something with this match. 7 for Almiron. Joelinton last. Watford were throwing anything in the way of his shots. He was trying very hard, but again, he wasn't really in the box that often. He was doing a lot more of the work around the place that Rondon did last year. He's shown very big similarities to Rondon, and he's younger, so that can only be good, but would have been nice to see him get a goal. There was a great challenge to set off Muto, and as I said before, maybe after he passed to Muto, he should have pegged it in the box, because if he'd been waiting there, he would have given Muto a better option than the player that came in just a little bit too late. 8 for Joelinton. I thought he had a good game. And like I say, in other seasons, Watford, they would have been considered a tough side. They really would have. And they looked it. They really looked like they were out with a point to prove. Obviously, the manager under pressure, players under pressure, big changes were made. So it would be like Newcastle responding to the Norwich game where we went and got that win against Tottenham. I think there's very similar situations going on there when there's pressure. 4 games in though, I think it's safe to say we've done all right. It's very hard to say that points were dropped, given that the goal that Watford scored was just so lucky the way it fell to Hughes. And the fight was there, that's the main thing. Unlucky, yes. Uninterested, no. And we will see you after the break when we play Liverpool. Last time I said that, we went and beat City, so who knows? Catch you then. Where's Fabian?